Industrial AI is transforming manufacturing and engineering globally. Where do you see the biggest opportunities over the next 3 to 5 years for Indian MSMEs and startups?
Okay. So for Indian MSMEs and startups, it's very important to verticalize, number one, go narrow and deep into certain verticals. So if you look at which verticals are having heavy traction, it could be, it is first of all energy sector, oil and gas, upstream, midstream, downstream. There's a lot of white spaces out there. Number two is utilities and power grid, uh, power generation, power transmission, distribution, so the entire value chain.
Mhm.
Uh, Third is manufacturing. And if you look at manufacturing, it could be the supply chain, it could be operations, it could be quality inspections. All of those are, there's a lot of white spaces out there. And the fourth area is, I would say, mining, right? Uh, because of supply chain changes and a lot of rewiring of the supply chain for minerals, especially, mining is picking up a lot of activity. So worker safety in underground mines is a huge area. Right? A lot of people die because they operate in unsafe conditions at certain depth. So overground mines, underground mines, and mining operations in general, increasing the efficiency of mining operations, making sure asset reliability. So these are all ripe areas for Indian MSMEs to go narrow and deep and build a niche for themselves.
Got it. So my next question now is, if you were mentoring a startup today, what are some real world problems in manufacturing, aerospace, defense, automotive, energy, or industrial operations that are worth solving with AI?
Okay, so if you had to start a company today, yeah, good way of framing it. I would say if you look at industrial per se, right, across marketplaces, there's one common problem they face. That is, they have an aging workforce, right? Somebody who has had 20 years experience in operating a plant, a refinery operations, he can go next to an asset, listen to the sound of the motor, and tell this is going to go down or not, right? So there is a lot of intuition and judgment which has been developed over a period of time. When that person retires, that knowledge goes outside of him. So one of the first use cases one can build is to build a knowledge graph of the expertise of some of these people, whereby when they take a crucial decision, let's say they're trying to suppress an alarm and they had a certain rationale in his mind, that rationale can be digitized, captured, and is available to the youngsters so that they can start beginning to take decisions like an expert. So high value judgment capture, the way I look at it, is a huge use cases across the entire industry. The second important thing I see is quality. So whenever a batch gets rejected, right? It could be Mayonnaise batch getting registered, or it could be a batch of tablets which are manufactured. It's in a pharmaceutical plant. A rejection of a batch is expensive. Trying to do root cause analysis, AI-powered root cause analysis of batch rejects is definitely an area. Second thing is, even before the reject happens, can you predict that this batch is going to get rejected by looking at lab data, by looking at sensor operations, by looking at ambient conditions, by looking at worker experience, all of that, right? You can build a 360-degree view of all the influences which impact the quality outcome. So second big category is, I would say, quality, right? And the third big area is HSE, health, safety, and emissions. So if you take a refinery, for example, if you look at Bombay itself, some of the refineries is situated in the heart of the city itself. So there's a safety is a very big thing, and also emissions. So you have to monitor the amount of methane or other non-toxic gases which are emitted. So drone-based inspections of refineries so that emission violations can be captured as a use case. Corrosion is a big use case. So all of this from a health and safety perspective, definitely, and worker safety, right? Are you doing unsafe operations? Are you wearing a headgear? PPE protection, etc., using video camera and vision AI. All of these are ripe use cases for startups to play and win.
Correct. So, so since you've spoken about monetizing engineering outcomes, what does this mean in practice? And how can startups create products or IP that customers are willing to pay for instead of building one-off services?
Correct. So one of the areas to build so IP is to get exclusive access to high value data sets, the way I look at it. What do I mean by that, right? For example, let's take some practical examples. So Google from Palo Alto wanted to build an AI model to predict diabetic retinopathy in patients. So they needed a critical mass of data regarding retinal scans, which is not available in the US. Right? That volume was not available, privacy, a lot of stuff. Finally, they came down to Arvind High Hospital in Madurai. Arvind Eye Hospital essentially shared with them a lot of data because they do all these camps for free, but they had access to a lot of data regarding diabetic retinopathy. And from that, Google was able to build an AI model which predicts that, right? So exclusive access to high value data set is very, very important. Uh, the second big area is capturing the reasoning, or what they call as decision context graphs, right? People are taking decisions. The decision has a lot of context. When I mean context, it means if I have to take a decision regarding a supplier, I could have gone supplier one, supplier two, supplier three for a particular product. I chose supplier three over the other ones. Why did you select that? Even though he's more expensive than the others. So that reasoning, whether it's related to timeline, quality, regulatory implications, is important. That's not captured today. So building a knowledge graph of uh, decision graphs, decision recipes, and the reasoning behind it. Building a reasoning database is another area where startups can build a lot of IP.
Got it. So the final question is advice for founders. So, what skills, partnerships, and mindset should founders develop if they want to build globally competitive industrial AI companies over the next decade?
Yeah. So yes, there are mindsets and there are tool sets, right? So from a mindset perspective, I think uh, we need to do more in terms of doing sales experiments and failing. So what I mean by that is you should budget X amount of money to fail in sales experiments. You should write it off because it's not in our mindset to fail, right? So you have to succeed with every experiment, doesn't work in real life. So you have to have that mindset saying, I'm setting aside, I'm just putting a number, 100 rupees for sales experiments, five sales experiments, 20% each. And I am expecting 80% of my sales experiments to fail, but the one which works I really want to scale. So budgeting for sales experiment failure is a mindset which start founders should have. The second big mindset is from a partnership perspective, right? We normally would like to partner right on the shoulders of an existing giant, right? But we do not know the landing point. You could be talking to someone in the middle of the pyramid. It'll take you a long time. So you have to find the right nodal points. So your intuition or instincts regarding what is the right landing point within a partner which can quickly accelerate your sales cycle and help you monetize is also very important. So having that hustling mindset and quickly spelling out who can pull the decision, who cannot pull off a decision is an important mindset to develop. I would say, yeah.
Got it. And one piece of advice for entrepreneurs for on this occasion of the World MSME Day.
Uh, I would say is do a lot of global sales experiments early on. Uh, Middle East, US are good ripe markets. Uh, Please do a lot of, and each geography has its own nuances. Uh, so double down on your sales experiments by ICP in your target market. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you for your time, and we will definitely take the advice. And yeah, that's it. That's it for the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the best to all of you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.